Education multiplies their chances and places the world of opportunity in their hands. No matter where they are in the world, make sure they're prepared for their journey back to school with Western Union. School fees, books, room and board, whatever the reason. Knowledge, independence, opportunity. Western Union, moving money for better.
We're back on the inside for another ladies' room, the final one for the week. Ian Baker, good morning. Marian, good morning. Candy, good morning. Welcome, everybody. So we got a pretty interesting topic for y'all today. So come on into the room, guys. I posted it on my Facebook page, and it's already generating a buzz, a whole lot of responses. And like I said, listen. If I really needed advice, like life and death situation, I'm so not coming to y'all because y'all take everything for a joke. I swear. And the kind of comments and responses y'all give, if your heart not strong, it could break you down so much further. So imagine the goodly husband who sent in this, scenario, listening or reading some of the comments that y'all are making under the post. I mean, he's already heartbroken. He's already trying to figure out why his wife of 19 years suddenly decides she wants some space, and ask that, hear what the room has to say. So we're gonna discuss that this morning. Good morning, Hermelin. Good morning, Christelle. Candy Reed. Good morning, Alana. Della Fletcher, good morning. Come on into the room, guys. Yeah, I know we have a slight delay with getting the notifications, but it's good to have you. Debbie Crony, good morning. Andrea, good morning. Kareem, good morning.
Morning. No, you just talk about the post you made and dying.
Just talk about what?
The you posted it earlier.
Yeah.
So I went and I looked.
Samuel Ross, good morning. Julianne, good morning. Sugar Babe, good morning.
Terrible.
Good morning, Ina Andrew.
Nah, boy. Yes.
Taff, good morning. So let's get serious. All right. So this person wants to know, what does it mean when a wife of 19 years all of a sudden wants some space? That's the question. He wants to know, what does that mean? Now, the part that jumped out at me is all of a sudden. Let me just put you on to something here. There's no all of a sudden with women. The problem is you miss the signs. It may be loud, it may be silent, it may be subtle. This ain't all of a sudden. You just she verbally expressed herself. But there's never all of a sudden with women. There's a lot of little signs that you probably don't pay attention to that will let you know that she's not happy in the relationship. Women mentally check out before they physically check out of a relationship. So when you think she finally gets tells you, what, it's over, I'm done, I want to move on, whatever. That's not happening today. She didn't just wake up and decide she wants to be done with you today. She just decides that today is the day I'm going to tell you that I want to move on with my life. She mentally checked out a while ago. Women usually check out long before we check out physically. It's just the final step to get out of the relationship while you dotting your I's and crossing your T's and what have you. So it's not all of a sudden. You are now hearing the words from her that she wants some space, but you miss the signs. So, Kareem?
The man lose his work. The man lost his job. And he can no longer take care of his responsibilities.
What?
The man lose his work. You didn't feel?
It could be a case of You know what?
On a serious note,
a lot of us don't realize that relationships require work and maintenance. That's why some refer to it as a business. You got to put into it to reap the benefits. And after a while, people tend to get comfortable. I mean, 19 years is a long time to be with one person, right? And hearing that all of a sudden she decides to check out. Question I want to ask you, in all honesty, because it can't be one hand clapping, it has to be two hands. Somebody has to accept responsibility. How would you describe yourself for the past 19 years? What sort of husband have you been? Have you been respectful, supportive, whatever husband? Or is it a case of we got married and over the years, lost interest? You're out running woman younger than her. You're playing the fool all over the place, not paying her no mind or attention, and she's fed up and decided it's time to bounce. Or it could be, well, you did all that but just bored with the same old. Imagine you're with somebody for a year or 2 or 3 years, and sometimes you get, I'm tired of this routine. We got to switch things up. We got to do different things. So for 19 whole years.
So my question is, I've never been married before, but before I say what I have to say, how do you take space in a marriage? Explain that to me.
Space could be she goes somewhere else.
You're married
Or
all these donkey years. How do you take
move
space?
in by a friend, or maybe by a family member, or get her own place, or maybe they're in the same house and probably have upstairs, downstairs. You go chill downstairs for a while, or maybe the space from in the bedroom, sleep in another room, or sleep on the couch or whatever. Or I'm gonna sleep on the couch because he could say, you know what, you that one space, I ain't giving up my bed for you. Find somewhere else to take your space. So it could be either of that. He probably just has a lot going on. Not sure how old the person is. Somebody mentioned menopause changes, hormonal changes, and probably been doing the same thing for years, taking care of children, and she probably just needs some time for herself now. She probably spent 19 years devoting it to her husband and to her children, or whatever the case might be, and looked around and figured, you know what, 19 years later, I'm still here. I've not progressed in the way I want to, and I just need some time off to reevaluate myself. And it could be a lot of things. It's not a one thing that could cause somebody to say, oh, I want some space. It could be a number of reasons that brought her to this point after 19 years.
Alright. So
Somebody say the sex don't go again.
no, well,
That could be true, because if you have one partner,
think about it. Or at Arena,
especially if you got a
years,
small package. You have to work it out.
19 years.
She's probably like Stella, trying to get her
Joint
groove
bank
back.
account, you have house, land, vehicle, children, thing. 19 years, and all of a sudden you want space. No, like you rightfully said, let's put certain things into perspective. Like you rightfully said, women don't do this all of a sudden thing. A man might wake up one morning and say, I feel this kind of way or that kind of way, and lean towards whatever side he feeling. But a woman, this thing is planned and calculated. No mistakes. No thoughts and if, but everything is calculated, hit the nail on the head. That's how women operate, right? Brother man, you just realize what's going on. You was probably naive, you think everything was good, everything was best. She ain't complaining much, maybe. Maybe you find one that is not a quarrelsome type, because that's one of the signals for us. You all all the time, stress us out, so we know what's going on. Maybe my girl, she stopped quarrel, or she probably not the quarrelsome type. So you probably think, well, if she ain't complaining, I guess everything good, right? But my thing is, if she is asking you for space now, after 19 years, for me, before I give you a space, I investigated. Is a couple things. Arena, space in a marriage for me, that can work. Somebody is somewhere doing something that I am failing to do. That's how I see it. If you ain't getting licks in the house, if I don't abuse you verbally, I don't think, then space in a marriage, especially a 19-year marriage, somebody somewhere is picking up the slack where I am failing. And I mean, you know, women always have this person in their corner, whether it's a friend, whether it's a acquaintance, whatever, but they always have someone in the corner, somebody that could play your role when you start to slip up.
Somebody may say, Colleen says, some couples could be in marriage and be living apart emotionally and mentally. And that is a fact. Like I said, 19 years is a long time.
You ain't taking you 19 years to figure that out, though.
Well,
That
it
is
probably
my
didn't,
thing.
but probably 10 years it was good for the first 10 years. The first, how much, 19? Probably good for the past 12 years. And after that, things started going downhill. The interest isn't there. He no longer compliments her. They no longer go out. They no longer feel that spark that generated.
Yeah, but if after 10 years, Aruna, it start to get bad, they go take it the next 9 years to keep trying, really? That'll make sense.
It doesn't take 19 years to decide you don't want to be in a relationship or you want space. What I'm saying is it could be at least a year. It could be a couple months ago. It could be a year or two ago. Why you have to take 19 whole? You're going to stay in a situation. It doesn't mean the whole 19 years was bad. Of course, because, I mean, if it was bad, you wouldn't be there for 19 years to begin with. Nobody stays in a 19-year-long relationship and it's really, really, really bad. Unless, you know, they have no other option. They have nowhere else to go. They're dependent hand and foot on their spouse and whatever factors. But there's no way you're going to stay in a bad relationship for 19 years. At some point, it has been good. Because he didn't complain and say, you know what, it was difficult or whatever. Because in his mind, all of a sudden, it's like, okay, they were good. Because when I read all of a sudden, what I'm getting is like, we good.
She come out of nowhere with
we
that.
good, and she just come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So it didn't see like, okay, well, things have been going downhill for a while, so now I understand why she wants some space. To him, it's like a surprise to him that she wants space because
The man
it seems
shocked.
as though they were having a good relationship. But to him, they were having a good relationship. But like I said, sometimes there are women who are very subtle. There are women who will let you know. I always say to people, listen, if me and you dealing, you see when I'm talking, that's not when you have to worry. When I'm nagging and you don't have to worry about that. It's when I go silent and I stop speaking, that's when you need to worry. Don't stress yourself when I come into you and I'm complaining or telling you about things I don't like or, you know, situations or whatever, certain things I want you to check on and, you know, and make the relationship better. Don't worry about that. Don't stress over that. You worry when I no longer, I say nothing, I don't complain, I don't check you, I don't tell you anything. That's when you need to worry because that is the stage where you're starting to check out. A lot of men think it's bad when women speak. Nah, homeboy. It's not bad when we're talking. It's bad when we stop talking. That means, you know what?
we do that.
I got no
We do
interest
that.
in this anymore. If
You don't beat up. That's
I'm
what
done.
I hear a lot.
I'm
You
done.
don't beat up.
I'm done.
That's
I'm
what
exhausted.
y'all say.
I'm physically and emotionally
yeah.
exhausted. I got nothing more to say. Next step is to move on and move out, or wherever the case might be. So, someone here is saying, when some folks' children grow up and move out of the house, they sometimes realize they have nothing in common anymore, and that is a fact. I've heard from a number of divorced persons who said that. You know, sometimes it's like the children are the glue that kept them together for all these years. When children suddenly grow up or move on to their own homes or go to college or travel, and it's just the two of them in the house, they realize, you know what? We didn't really have nothing to talk about. We don't have nothing to bond over anymore, really. So there's a lot of factors. It doesn't necessarily have to be, oh, she find an ex-man. That's always when when a woman, you know, look for space or want to move on or move out, it's always, oh, because it's an ex-man. Sometimes
According
it's
to
not.
Jello.
Sometimes a man not even in the picture, and I'm not even sure how old these people are. After 19 years, they sound like, you know, they're past a good mark. Doesn't sound like, you know, these are young people.
I'm
Sounds
by
like
that
it's
because my man didn't even admit that, okay, we probably had a little rocky phase or I know we wasn't the best or whatever. The guy say all of a sudden, I think the brother
yes,
could be
Karen,
so
that's to him.
blind and naive.
Really?
Like
really.
no, man. He must have picked up
Sometimes you all
something.
notice the red flags, but you don't pay attention to it because you know what? You're married.
Marina, the man
We
would have
ring.
admit something in the scenario. The fact that
No,
the brother
no,
said
no. All scenarios
of
don't
a
come.
sudden.
You know what?
So it's like a shock to him now.
We could only go
It's
on
like
what
where that even come out.
we could only go on what scenario say. We can't go on okay what could have been said or what he should have said or what could have added.
Right,
and
so the
not
man say
said.
all of a sudden.
All of a sudden to him. Like I said, but if you were to speak to the woman, she'd probably say, not all of a sudden to me. I've been dropping clues, I've been speaking, and he has not been taking me seriously. He was not minding his business. So it's not all of a sudden to him, it's all of a sudden to him, but not to her. She's been dropping signs and clues, and homeboy just been, okay, you know what? We already married. We ain't got nothing to do. She ain't going anywhere. As someone here is saying, sometimes in marriage, after such a long time, men tend to stop do certain things, such as romantic dates, bringing up flowers when they first got married. Could be a way of showing the man that she wants a relationship to go back to how it used to be, spicy, romantic, etc. Men don't realize something is missing after such a long time until women shows them. Colleen says some men think it's all of a sudden. Meanwhile, the women been trying to pour her heart out, but to him, it went over his head. To him, it was she liked to talk too much. To him, it was she nagging. That is what it is. When a woman speaks, all you hear in his head is like, that's how a woman songs to you. Y'all check out and just don't pay attention to,
Aruna, in that hour that y'all lost, because y'all lost quarrel for, y'all doesn't quarrel for like a 2-3 minutes, Y'all just quarrel for like a good half an hour, 45 minutes. Because remember, you had to go back now and bring up what happened yesterday, last week, last month. That's a lot of information to process. You ever think about that? When y'all quarreling for, if it was like a 2-3 minutes and you're done. Like for example, when we have a problem, we come to here, we say, this is that. 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes, we done. You could even
because
come
y'all
and
don't have much problems.
because y'all come and y'all even say, remember when you said this and that and that. Y'all could spitball what we said.
Because y'all
But
don't
when
have
y'all
much
quarrel
problem.
for a whole half an hour, 45 minutes, Arena, come on.
I don't know if some of y'all has been listening
Come
to
on.
respond or listening just to say. Nobody said it was the man's fault, but at some point it has to be. The responsibility falls on both. Both have to accept responsibility for whatever happens. It can't be one person's fault. Nobody says that it is the man's fault. We're saying, well, not we. I am saying that questions have to be asked. If you're in a good relationship, happy relationship, you don't decide after 19 years to just check out with no reason. There must be something that contributed to you wanting to check out. And that means either you or him or whatever were not communicating effectively. You can't tell me that she decides to check out and it's all good and she just checked out because who checks out of a relationship because they're happy? She's too happy, you're not accustomed to happiness, so you check out? Happiness, and I agree with you, so that's a good reason for the one space because you're so happy. It must be something. And if you're married, obviously it has to be something between the two of them. It's not his fault. Nobody said it's his fault 100. I'm saying there are things that he probably did that contributed to it and probably things that she did. So both parties have to accept responsibility for the roles that they play or played in getting to this point. It seems as though men just listen and all they hear is man's fault. Y'all just like, and it's annoying because nobody comes here just to say, oh, it's always man's fault. We're saying so when people listen to not listen to respond, listen to understand. Okay? Nobody says it's his fault entirely that she's at that place. It has to be something. She did, he did. It can't be one person alone. Because if we were to ask him, he'll probably say, you know what? He probably could check out too because he probably has some faults or whatever he does not like, but he jamming still.
But it's like his head wasn't in that space.
But his head wasn't in that space. I'm sure if you were to ask him, he would say the same thing, that she probably has ways he ain't like either. And if he were to check out, he would say this is what she did that contributed to him checking out. So it's both of them. Ain't no one person or one man wrong or the man wrong, whatever. There's no way of pinpointing who's wrong here because the scenario only says all of a sudden, after 19 years, all of a sudden, your wife wants space.
But Rina, if after 19 years,
Hold on, someone says he paid no attention. Something must have triggered that decision. Another person says how old is the wife? I'm not sure. This was not all of a sudden. She been suffering. Additionally, people outgrow each other, especially if they've been married very long. And I think that's what it probably is. She probably outgrew the relationship. Good morning.
Let me watch. Why watch? Why you think? Why watch? I said I wasn't calling. I said I didn't come in there. Let me watch me. How we end up on that? How we end up on that? The situation say after 19 years she want to go. You didn't say the man want to go no way. So stop switching things and tying up things to involve the man.
He's involved. He's the one who sent in the scenario.
The scenario never said the man want to go no way.
Where you going?
The scenario say
where you going?
After 19 years she wants peace.
But where you going if you're getting tea, breakfast, dinner, everything taken care of, your wife taking care of you? Where you going?
So don't come and say, well, maybe he this and maybe he did that. It ain't nothing to do with that. That was never an issue. We ain't know nothing about that. It
contributed.
Right.
There's no way. Listen,
there's no
you have to be
evidence.
fair. You don't need evidence.
Aruna,
you have to be fair. There must be something that contributed from both ends to someone wanting to leave.
Aruna, that might be so, but there's no supporting evidence to substantiate that claim.
That is why it's called opinions.
Right? There is no supporting evidence to substantiate that claim that he would have did anything so that this scenario would have involved
Somebody's asking if men leave their wives. Serious question.
So the next thing, I didn't know that. I didn't know the scenario. Let me tell you what the scenario is. Tell what the scenario is. This is Space Jam 3. She wants space. This is Space Jam 3, the Entanglement Edition. She gone Jada Pinkett on him. And she gone Jada Pinkett on him. This is Space Jam 3, starring she, the Entanglement Edition. The man ain't do nothing. He did. For better or for worse, she don't want to go after 19 years. There's no
he did nothing.
Evidence.
He's a totally innocent party in all of this.
According to the circumstances presented before us, that is true.
Okay. Nothing. A model, a pillar of good virtue and standard in the community.
According to the evidence presented before us, that is
an upstanding man in the community. Very, very, very wonderful man in the community. Absolutely the best man there is.
In accordance with the evidence presented at this court, yes, Your Honor, that is very much precisely true. There's no supporting evidence to substantiate that this man may have faulted in any way.
But you saying we're going
in this honorable house.
Listen, you say we're going only on what the scenario is stating, but you're speculating saying there's another person involved. How you know that?
I never see that.
What you said?
I never see that.
What you said?
I said Space Jam 3, starring she, the Entanglement Edition.
Okay. Entanglement with whom?
Maybe I don't know.
You're speculating. All right.
Or what?
The scenario said nothing about that. Let's stick to the scenario. We're not supposed to add or take out.
And the entanglement here doesn't necessarily have to mean a person. It could mean her feelings. It could mean her emotions. It could mean anything. Entanglement here is a blanket statement.
They're calling you. Go and do your work.
Oh, okay.
You speculating. The same thing you're accusing us of doing, you are speculating. You said go with the scenario. We're going with the scenario. All right?
Aruna, going back to my point, honestly,
hold on.
That's a girl stranger. Trust me.
There's nothing strange
After
about that.
19 years, you just want space.
People been in relationship for 2 months and they want space. So I know what y'all talking about for 19 years. People has been in relationship for 2 months. Last week me and you meet and this week I want space because you're annoying
after 2
me
months
already.
you don't have nothing.
Some woman that's being good. Well, morning, I forgot my manners today. Some woman that's being good house and bad houses call them, as my mother always say. May she soul rest in peace. Some woman that's being good house and bad houses call them because they just see a pasture when they have on their sunglasses and they think it's greener on the other side. But when they get over in the pasture now and they take out their glasses, it's dry, the grass dry. So that does be the problem. And then they want to run back afterwards. But there's no coming back. Anyway, have a blessed day. I just buy 2 more Julie Mango. They charge me £10. You can believe that? But what would I carry the money?
Julie Mango in peace. Hold on, let me hear what this person here is saying.
Oh, Aruna, good morning. Why it is you choose to bring that question today when Jason is not there?
What make all you feel afraid, Jason?
You had to bring that question yesterday when Jason was there. Jason is the right person to deal with you on that. Karim will be a little bit more calm, but Jason will handle you well.
Handle who well, please. I know what make all the thing afraid Jason or I can't handle Jason. Jason just complicated himself. This person says this is a complicated situation, needs an investigation. Hold on. There's so many messages. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to. Hold on. Someone here says, after 19 years, you not knowing why she needs space is a good clue why she needs space.
What?
Let me repeat. After 19 years, you not knowing why she needs space is a good clue into why she needs space. After 19 whole years. No, for real. After 19 years, if you don't know why your wife needs space, that is a good clue. It is a good clue why you need space, why she needs space. Someone says depends on what kind of space she wants. Does she want time to herself? Does she want to go away for a couple of days, weeks, months? Are your children grown and out the door and she needs to find herself? It all depends on what kind of space she needs. Ask her. Somebody says, newsflash, as a husband, you are more than that part of the male anatomy. So if she needs something else, it's not always found in someone else. It can be deep within herself. It sounds like the kids are finding their way and she's looking to be more than a wife and a mother. Perhaps she's looking to explore a new profession or take on some individual challenges. I would wait so she's clear, ask her about it, and be supportive. Another person says, sounds like there is a deeper conversation to be had with your wife. The information is too vague to get a meaningful response here. And I agree, it's really, really vague. Someone says she's a person who needs space. Without knowing all of what happened in the past 19 plus years, we can't really know why she needs space. Yeah. You really needed to add some more to. Another person here says her wanting some space could be she just needs a break. She needs time to herself. Imagine doing for everyone else all these years and not being able to stop and have time for herself, day in and out. Give her a break. That doesn't always imply she wants to live her thought ways. Someone here says it may feel all of a sudden, but I doubt that it feels suddenly to her. That's what I was saying. She needs space to gather her thoughts. My question would be, what do you need space for? And do I need to be concerned? That's the question. Because she didn't say she wanted to leave. She just said she wants some space. Maybe she wants to find herself. 19 years is a long time, and those years could have manifested different things for her in terms of who and what she wants to be or become as a woman. Give it to her, but always look inward yourself, but also look inward yourself during this time. There's a lot of comments. Another person says it wasn't sudden. You missed and ignored the signs and clues. That's what I'm saying again. There's too many single... Hold on. No. Can't read that one. I'll have to forget Ritza Radio. This one here says we don't have enough information to be able to answer this for you. Maybe she doesn't have her own life, friends, hobbies, etc. outside of your relationship, and she wants space to explore her own interests. Maybe she's going through something that she's not ready to talk about yet, and when she says she needs space, she means she needs time. Who knows? Could be a million things. Please just go talk to her instead of listening to these strangers on the internet who are going to put thoughts in your head that are probably not legitimate, like people suggesting there's somebody else in the picture, like just she tired of hearing rice for 19 years, so she go down and eat fig and yam. Nothing wrong with fig and yam. Maybe she's feeling trapped. She's been holding certain things inside and needs some time to clear her head, etc. For real. We always want to put another person in the picture when sometimes that's not even...
My advice, brother, as a civil person that I am, talk to her. That is all. Talk to her, find out. I mean, I know space, when somebody tells you that they need space, I know it hits hard. It hits hard, trust me. Especially now after 19 years, it's not like a 3-month thing, you know, at age 19 and you say you want that is after 19 years. You have a lot together, you know, and you saying this all of a sudden means that you need some more information.
Someone says
you need to get some more, you know. find out what that is about. So talk to her. You never know. Sometimes she don't really want to leave. You never know.
Someone says, I requested space from my ex when we lost respect for each other. I wanted us to work on the friendship and communication aspect of the relationship. He did the opposite. Oh, wow. Once you get past the shock and rejection, it also means you have space as well. Rediscover yourself and have a little fun. Believe me, the women will find you, but never beg anyone to stay with you that's not happy with you. You might be smothering her physically or emotionally. Ask her exactly what she meant. Ask her directly, what is the space you need? Keep asking questions until you understand everything. It would be honorable of her to answer questions about a life-altering request. When you hear it all, go to a quiet place, think things through, and figure it out. Another person says she's stuck in the routine of the marriage. Reinvent it and do something different. She's being checked out by someone else who's offering a refreshing experience. It means she wants space. Doesn't always mean cheating. Why are you asking a bunch of strangers
We didn't say
on
cheating,
Facebook? I'm just reading what someone says.
Oh.
Why are you asking a bunch of strangers on Facebook instead of your wife? You clearly don't have communication. It means things are not working out in the marriage. Maybe she tried many times to tell you to do things differently, and yet still you wouldn't listen. Now she's close to the edge of losing it. Someone says, when you meet a man, he can be nice and dandy, but once comfortable, and men show their true colors, and these days women doing their own things, independent, making their own money, have no time for the nonsense. Yes, it is. Someone asking, is this... Yeah. Alrighty. How much time we got left? Someone says, I too know that's saying I need space means she's at a crossroad. Then decide what that means to you. People answer based on experience, not necessarily personal. Let today's program be a wake-up call for men out there. When we know better, we all have to do better. So, like I said, space could mean a whole lot of things. But to me, the end result is having that conversation with her. Because we're going on a whole bunch of opinions and speculations over here. We don't know the ins and outs of the relationship. How has it been for the past 19 years? Have you been good? Then, what happened? What's going on? How do you communicate? How is, your bedroom activities? Is that spark still there? Or is it, once a month, once every 2 months, once in a while, or not at all? What is it? There's a lot of things that can contribute, because like I said, 19 years is a long time. Here are people who've been together for 2 years and they complain about being bored. And like I said, relationships, they are definitely like businesses. You got to put into it to get out of it. So you just can't do the same thing, the same way, the same house, same times, same place every day. It's monotonous. You are going to get bored. So you always have to find ways to be creative to keep that spark alive. And like I said, 19 years is a pretty long time. You know much thing you could do in 19 years? Probably have house, children, grandchildren, studied. There's a lot you can do in that length of time. And for her to just, according to you, suddenly want space, and nothing suddenly. There's more in the matter besides the pestle, so you really, really, really need to pay attention and have the conversation. Have that conversation. Might be uncomfortable, but have the conversation. And if she's not ready to talk about it yet, don't force it. Let she get her head together and then sit and have the conversation. But someone says, I also advise, that's a good way comment as well. Advice to be open to professional help. Maybe a little counseling. Listening to a third party, each being able to, air their piece and how they feel, and it's not just about her, but him as well. How does he feel, in the relationship, and what, appreciated, underappreciated, whatever the case might be, So I think that's a good way to start. Maybe that's where you need to go. Contact a counselor, therapist, or whoever, and have the conversation. Because probably the counselor might be able to pull things out of her that you may not be able to, so who you were 10 years ago is not the same today. Self-discovery. Who you were yesterday doesn't mean you are the same today. You know what I mean? Nevertheless, just about all the time we got. We will be back next week on Monday, God's will, for another show. Thanks for another fantastic week. Thanks so much for coming into the room. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for chiming in. Appreciate it a whole lot. Looking forward to having you guys back here, same time, same place. Or compliments or friends at Beacon Insurance and Western Union. Happy Thursday, y'all.